Hi, my name is Michelle Gabriel, and I'm a student at University of North Texas in class EDAD 5650. This is a recording of a pre-observation conference. Today, who will be joining us is Maria Acero. She is a third grade teacher at Aiken Elementary School at the Richardson Independent School District. Good afternoon, Maria. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about your lesson for the upcoming week. What I'd like to find out first and foremost is, what is your lesson objective for your students this week?
Sure. My students, the goal of the lesson is for the students to learn how to select the main events of a story and how to organize them in a sequential order.
Okay, great. So your students are going to be learning about a particular story, or are they going to be learning about multiple stories?
They're going to learn how to analyze literary text and sequence them.
Okay, literary text.
So it is sequence.
Okay, so it's sequence of literary text.
That's right.
Okay, great. So as you see the lesson unfolding, what will the students actually be doing?
Well, the students are going to be, they're going to be analyzing a story. It's going to be a literary text, and they're going to, again, recognize what are the main events in this story and sequence them. The way how we're going to get to that is I'm going to use a whole group lesson doing a chair reading or a read aloud. I'm going to be reading aloud with the students. They're going to have a copy of the text that I'm reading.
Okay.
So together we're going to go through the text and analyze it little by little. And the text is going to have pictures included. So as we read the text, we are going to analyze how the text reflects on the picture. What is the representation of the picture? And that's what we're going to do as a whole.
Okay, so you're actually having the students with their own text, and you're reading aloud in a shared reading kind of capacity because the students have the text in front of them. And they're going to be analyzing the connection between the text and the pictures?
Correct. We're going to analyze, we're going to read the text and analyze each event, and then we're going to see how the event is represented on the picture.
Okay, great. As you envision the lesson, what do you see yourself doing to help the students meet the outcome?
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to coach the students. First, I'm going to present the lesson like I told you, so the students can understand the story, each event of the story. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to facilitate pictures of the story to the students. They're going to work in groups. So I have 20 students, so I'm going to have them working in groups of 5. They're going to have the pictures, they're going to be the same pictures we use in the text that we read.
Okay.
And they're going to organize the pictures on sequential order.
Okay.
As a group. We're going to talk about it and see how they can sequence the pictures. I'm going to be walking around, facilitating, some students won't understand, some students are going to be confused, so I'm going to explain to them again how to work. And when they're done with the second step of the lesson, which is going to take on the second day, is they're going to do exactly the same thing. We don't want to read the story again because we already read the story. So they're going to have the same task, but this time they're going to sequence the story by using the text. So I'm going to pull out those main events from the text, and I'm going to give them their cards, and they're going to sequence the story using text, not pictures. I'm going to take away the pictures.
Okay,
I'm going to use the text.
So let me understand. So the first day, they're going to be working with a read aloud that's going to lead them to using the pictures and placing those pictures in sequential order.
That's correct.
And then the next day, they're going to be working in small groups again, but this time with just the text, or so just sentences that are representative of the pictures they worked with previously?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And then, but because the goal of the lesson is to sequence a story, they need to learn how to differentiate main events from events that really don't have much importance in the story, or lesser important events, right? So what they're going to do is, after they sequence these texts, on the third day they're going to learn how to pull out these events that really don't have any importance. So they're going to learn how to say, okay, if I pull out this event, would the rest of my stories change? No. So then this event is not an important event.
Okay, so it's not a key detail.
It's not a key detail. That's
Okay.
right. Yes.
Okay. So what will you be doing? What's the order, the sequence of the lesson? What's going to happen first, next, and last? And approximately how long is each segment going to be?
Okay, so the first day is going to be a really long lesson just because I'm doing a read aloud with them.
Okay.
And we're analyzing the story, we're talking about the pictures, and I'm going to be creating a chart, an anchor chart for them to understand as we read the story.
Okay.
So that lesson is going to be probably about 50 minutes because we're going to read it for about 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and then they're going to have the group work, which it will be probably 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
So I said probably 15 minutes lesson. The rest of the days, the lesson is going to be much shorter because what I'm going to do is I'm going to review the concept of sequence using some other text, I have actually a PowerPoint that I'm going to use one of the days just to review the concept in a different way.
Okay. Okay.
And then they're going to have their activity, which is going to be about 15 minutes. The rest of the time, they're going to work with a different text every day. They're going to be reading a text with a partner, and after they read the text, they're going to try to sequence the text. So what I'm going to ask them to do is I'm going to ask them to create a cartoon series of pictures.
Okay.
With the main event and the text under the pictures. They're going to sequence these as partners. And then while they're working on that, I'm going to call groups to my table. So everybody's different, reading a different text. So I have 4 different texts that I'm going to...
So why have you decided to use 4 different texts for the sequencing? Is there a reason?
Yes, to differentiate. A lot of my students are ahead.
Okay.
So they're going to be reading a more complex text. Some of my students are running a little bit behind, lower. They're reading at a second grade level.
Okay.
So they're going to be using a simpler text, less writing.
Okay.
And more pictures.
More picture support.
And more picture support. And another one of my groups are ESL. So they're going to be using the book that is designed for ESLs, and the stories, although they keep the same theme, they're a little bit different. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So I like the way that you are being thoughtful in thinking in looking at some of the challenges that your students might have, and then planning for that. That's really great. So how long do you think it will take students to master this particular skill? Do you think that 1 week is enough time? Or do you think that this is a skill that students will need to revisit multiple times?
It is definitely a skill that needs to be revisited. Fortunately in reading and language arts, you always go back to the lessons as you're teaching other lessons.
Okay.
So yes, but certainly we need to have a lesson and sequence probably 3 or 4 weeks down the road to just be a refresher, probably with a different text and different activities.
Okay.
Probably, but we'll see, because sometimes some of the students get the concept. But again, it's something that it has to be revisited throughout the whole year.
Okay. So when you think about your student success in this particular lesson, what are you expecting to see them doing or hear them saying that would indicate to you that they have mastered the concept?
The first thing my expectation is the language that they're using while they're analyzing the text. I expect them to understand and use the words that come with sequence, obviously next, after, before.